Right then, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to the first ever stream that we will do here at the Apex Racing League. It is the round 8 of the season, and we find ourselves here in Texas, the United States of America, of course, at this very track of the Circuit of the Americas, a brilliant circuit that it is, and we have a three-stage qualifying, full qualifying session coming your way first of all. Then we'll have your 50% race, everybody. A long time since I've done a full qualifying, so I'm very much looking forward to getting into this. I really am. Long time since I've done it, and they take a bit of a while, but can prove to be exciting. A full grid here tonight then. If you're just joining us for the first time ever, welcome in. It is good to see you. Of course, my first time commentating the Apex Racing League. I've commentated many Apex Racing Leagues, with the same name, but not this one. And it is good to be here to give it a go then. 15 minutes on the clock, of course, for qualifying 1. And 20 drivers all here. I've got to say, my name pronunciation at the start is never always that good. And, of course, I've not seen all of these names before, so I'm going to have to go through them and see if I can pronounce them well. But full lobby, and there's a few in here that I know. Tesco Trolley, Stray Dog Racing, of course, who invited me. I know who he is. I think they're the only two that I actually know of in this session. Yeah, they are. I don't think I know anybody else. So that's quite nice to be getting into a new day, a new session, a new league without anybody really that I know. A long time since I've done that. With 15 minutes then, everybody. Tesco Trolley on the track already in the Mercedes and making his way through this lap here in COTA. He is on a flying lap. Already completed that one lap out lap. Now he's on that flying lap around. 40% battery then in this car. It's looking quite nice at the minute as the bright sunlight blazing in his in his eyes as he makes his way into the left-hander. But if you are just joining us for the first time ever, we are very nearly, ladies and gentlemen, at the big 800 followers on Twitch. Please send us a follow if you can. We're going to get there sooner than ever now. I mean, we really have been flying with the followers, and it has been lovely to see. So, of course, send us a follow over if you enjoy the commentary from tonight, and hopefully we can get to that big 800 soon. But Tesco Trolley making his way around the final corner in the Mercedes. This is a lap around for him, and it's not looked too bad. It's a 1 minute 34 flat for his first time of the day. We have another Mercedes making their way around. It's going to be Executioner. Executioner's aim as he crosses the line. It's pole position for him provisionally. 1 minute 33.633. And the Mercedes, both of them, lock out the front row of the grid in the early stages. Shinks over the line then. Lines up in third. Thank you very much for the follow, Sweet Power. I appreciate it. Hopefully you like the follower sound. As we now have Roximity over the line. It is McJinglebun over the line for provisional pole. 1 minute 33.5. And Jinglebun then with a pretty decent time, kick-starting the quick times today. 1 minute 33.5 then. Executioner's aim in second place at the moment. And we've moved down the grid with Jay Riley at the back of this grid in P7 with 1 minute 44.7. Slowest of the drivers at the minute. Mr. Liam, 1 minute 34.1. In the Aston Martin. Shinks, of course, 5. We've just had Tomo move up into P7 then. But let me remind you, everybody, this is full qualifying. If you are joining me tonight, and you normally are with me, watching the streams, of course, I normally do the short qualifyings. This is full. This is the one that takes a lot longer, but does always bring out some good lap times. It really does, and this is going to be good to watch. Of course, 5 people are going to be eliminated from this session. That'll be from P15 to P20. Well, from P16 to P20 will be the drivers that get eliminated. Then the second session will be P5 to P11. Is Quell over the line. Sets the quickest time in the early stages, 1 minute 33.4, and the Kick Sauber setting the quickest time is teammate Shinks on YT down in P7. But, ooh, nearly going around there from Jay Riley, just catching the car in a spin. As Inhuman Dan over the line, he sets P4, 133.9. And that's a lovely start for him on the second row of the grid, of course. But we are waiting for the drivers to finish their laps, waiting for the time to run down to go into that second session. Then the final session is where it all really matters. That is when, you know, the lap times that you're seeing really, really count up at the front. Of course, you know, Dr. Quell on pole at the minute, it's brilliant. It's really good to see him up there at the moment. It's going to show some good hope, of course. But at the minute, it doesn't mean anything for any of the drivers. Of course, the people down at the back is going to mean a lot because they don't want to get eliminated. But the guys up at the front, they're quite happy right now being where they are. But as we move through the sessions, the drivers up at the front, their places start to get more important as time goes on. Stray Dog Racing then. He sets P12 in the Ferrari, 135.5. Quite a lot off the pace there to Eeg B. But I believe this is the Tier 2 of Apex Racing League, so you must have, of course, the first tier, second tier, maybe you have some more than that, I'm not too sure, but I guess I'll find out as time goes on. 10 minutes then of this session remaining, and Inhuman Dan is up towards the line now. He hasn't validated his lap around, but it is looking like he's going again with a lot of battery left in that Alpine. Up towards turn 1 then, and the last lap, of course, was an invalidation, so he is going to have to try and step it up a bit if he wants to take a good time here. He's in P6 at the minute as Devil's Cupid sets second place, and Inhuman Dan, the first corner wasn't the greatest, but he's looking like he's brought it back a little bit through this lap at the moment, keeping it quite nice and neat. With 9 minutes remaining of this session, Dr. Quell, the man in front in the Kick Sauber. Devil's Cupid then is second place. Lord McJigglebun in third. Executioner's Aim in 4. Mr. Liam in 5. Inhuman Dan 6. James 7. It is Anroximity in 8. 9 is Tesco Trolley. Shinks 10. 11 is Arisu. Goat surname in P3, not going to lie. Mate, brilliant surname. Absolutely brilliant. It's good to see you join us in the chat tonight, though, McJigglebun. Glad to see you here tonight. It is, yes, Arixu in 11, Igby in 12, Snap 13, Stray Dog Racing in 3rd, 14, Sweet Power in 15, Tomo 16, J Riley 17, S150 in 18, and Ben in 19 then. I'll only be here for quali. No worries, mate. All good. Good to see you in here at the moment, though. 8 minutes of this session. Have you guys ever had a commentator, or am I the first person to be here? You'll have to let me know. But it's good to be here tonight. It really, really is. Like I mentioned earlier on, it's not very often that I get to do many new leagues. I commentate a lot during the week, and I've been with them for a while now. But to be in a new league is quite different. I'll give you that. Of course, getting used to all the new names, so please bear with me while I get used to these names. Tesco Trolley, though, 133.2. Now he's the quickest driver by 0.2 of a second over Dr. Quell. That is a very nice time for the Mercedes, but is that going to be able to be held? I think it will be. 20 drivers here, and he's pretty safe up at the top, isn't he, to get through to the next session, of course. Who sets the best time of this session right now? Dr. Quell 2. Devil's Cupid currently P3. 7 minutes remaining. A Ferrari is coming out of the pit lane, as well as a Red Bull. We did have one, but he was on and off. Fair enough. I should be here consistently for a few weeks, I believe. So that should be fun. Hopefully I can stick around as long as possible. Inhuman Dan then in P7. He goes into the pit lane in the Alpine. He's set a decent time. P7, he will be into the next session pretty much with that time, surely. 6 minutes remaining. The time is running down. Ariksu then in the Racing Bull. 1 minute 34, 190. 1/10 of a second away from Shinx on YT in P10. And this is definitely achievable for him if he makes his way through. And oh, never mind. The back end sliding out. That'll be the end of that lap around then. Loses all the time he might have had gained. Jay Riley down in 17 over the line. He improves to P15, 7.1 seconds faster. And the Williams is quicker here tonight. And then he left. Oh, man. Daniel, there's no grip, I swear, he says. It's good to see Daniel. Welcome in for the first ever time in the stream. Lots of new people in here tonight. It's quite exciting, it really is. We never get this anymore. We never get this. Always the same people, of course, because of the same leagues. But welcome into the channel, guys. And like I mentioned earlier, we are very nearly at 800 followers. If you could give us a follow, that would be absolutely brilliant, as we are nearly there. And you get to hear the brilliant follower sound that we have on the screen. But 5 minutes remaining. There it is. Daniel, thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Shinx goes into P6 then on time at the minute. He's set a decent time, 1:33.7. Jakey, thanks for that follow, mate, as well. I appreciate it. I'm Snap. Okay, fair play. You're down in P13 then, 1:34.6. 1:34.6 flat as well. Lord McJigglebum with a follow too. Cheers, guys. I appreciate it. Very much appreciate it as S150 rejoins the session. But the drivers up at the front looking fairly safe in this session right now. People down, from P10 below, they might be, might be kind of worried. The bottom 5 are going to lose their places in the next session. And that'll be that for them. That'll be them gone. And that'll be their starting places for the Grand Prix. But everybody else will progress. That is above P15. Jakey, will you be doing T1 on Sunday? I'm not sure, mate. Ben over the line, 1:33.1. Now he's on pole. Ben with a lovely time this evening. And the Aston Martin sets the quickest time of the day. But Jakey said, will you be doing T1 on Sunday? I haven't been asked about doing it, mate. Possibly I'll be doing it, but Stray Dog sorting it all out for me, so I'm not entirely sure. Look at all these new people in here tonight. It's good to see you guys. Welcome in. Mackie as well. That's one name that I do know. Welcome in, Mackie. Good to see you again. Shinx, I was 8/10 up. Riley impeded him. Oh, maybe somewhere for the stewards room, that is. James, good to see you as well, mate. Welcome into the stream. We are very nearly done with your first session of qualifying. If you're just joining us, we are here for a full qualifying session. I appreciate the follow as well. Thank you, James. Here for a full qualifying session with 3 minutes remaining of this the first session, where we are going to lose 5 drivers. And we'll go into the next session with 15 people losing 5, which is going to be a shame for the guys that lose out. But look at that, Stray Dog 3 Racing just on the brink there of elimination, just about staying in P15, and he needs to find some improvements if he wants to, get into the second session. He really does have to find some improvements on this lap around. We'll find out if he can. James, welcome to the league, man. Great to have you. I appreciate that, mate. Cheers. And yeah, like I said earlier, I should be here for a few weeks, so I'm looking forward to get to know you guys. And brand new league. It's very exciting. I never get to do it, so I'm very glad. 2.5 minutes. And, off the track for the Haas car of Tomo. The 2 Haas's, by the way, at the back of the grid. And seem to be struggling on their pace at the moment, everybody. But Tomo is here, and P18 is where he is at the moment. The drivers on their out laps, a few on their flying laps. A Sweet Power into second place, front row of the grid at the moment. It is Mr. Liam in 9, and he is finding time. This This is time he's found in the first sector. Now he's in the middle sector and into the final third now. What's he done in the second sector then? He's up by half a second then, is Mr. Liam. And he is finding some good time at the minute. He doesn't really need to improve from this position. He's in a pretty decent position there as the Haas goes off wide at the moment. But Mr. Liam continuing on then doesn't phase him as he flies through to the final few corners. DRS detection zone comes up as Devil's Cupid and Lord McJigglebun retire from the session as Mr. Liam round the final corner and towards the line. What will this be? Will it be a good improvement for him? It is P4 for that man who improves quite nicely. Right. This is what we need to be looking now. Tomo starts a lap. He's down in P18. Stray Dog is now into the invalidation zone, and he needs to improve if he wants to get ahead. But he's got a minute left, and that is it for Stray Dog. He is eliminated from qualifying one and will not be progressing into the next two sessions. Jay Riley in P17. He is on the lap around as well as Tomo, who is up by 2.7 seconds. Of course, Tomo's on a 1 minute 43.9. He's massively off the pace here. As we have Ben in the chat as well. Good to see you, Ben. Welcome into the stream for the first time ever. Glad to have you with us tonight. Ben, of course, if that's you, is on pole position at the moment. Welcome in, man. Good to see you. Tomo then in P18, like I mentioned, on a lap and improving by 2 and a bit seconds at the moment. It is S150 as well, who's out there and maybe improving, possibly, but he's on a lap anyway. Jay Riley's down by 7/10 of a second. Mr. Liam retires from the session and Ben too. But here comes Jay Riley then, who will be rounding off this lap and crossing the line in a moment's time. Here comes the Williams, who wants to get himself out of the invalidation zone, the elimination zone today. But just, has he got the pace? Has he been able to do it through this lap? He goes into the pit lane. Jay Riley is out of qualifying. Tomo then is making his way around. This is his only chance to get himself into the second session. And Tomo into the final corner. He's got 30% battery left to use. DRS activated. Here comes Tomo then. Will he be out? He is out and eliminated from qualifying today. S150 making his way around the final few corners then in the Haas. Is he going to be able to improve tonight round the final corner and towards the line? Has this Haas got himself into the next session of qualifying? Just about eliminated there. He doesn't improve enough, and that is your eliminated drivers. S150, Stray Dog 3 Racing, Jay Riley, Tomo and Collie, all drivers out of this session. Everybody else continuing on, everybody, into the second qualifying session we have. Ariksu then in the Racing Bull, 1 minute 34 flat for him, as he is going to finish in P15 on the brink of elimination there, but he's just about saved it. And Roximity in the Red Bull is going to be finishing his qualifying session in a moment with the beautiful Red Bull special livery, as we have all the drivers in the pit lane now then, and that is qualifying one concluded. Great first session that was. Full grid for the drivers here today as well. What a great league this is looking to be. It really, really is. Hopefully I can stay around here for a bit longer. But, you know, now we have a bit of downtime. I appreciate the follows, guys. Really, really do. We're not far away from 800 now. You're really getting us close. And I am very excited to get there. Maybe we'll do something special for it. I don't know, but we'll find out. 11 people in the chat tonight, though. And the second qualifying session is on its way. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. It is qualifying one complete, and Ben is the quickest driver out of this session. Sweet Power second place, Tesco Trolley 3, and the list goes on, but that is it for qualifying one, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that is it for qualifying one, and we move into the next two qualifying sessions in a moment's time. By the way, your stream is so delayed. Yeah, that's normally what happens, mate, with streaming. It normally is delayed. Heavy on delay. Okay, that's fair enough. That's just what happens with streaming, though, mate. It's not. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's too much of a big deal, to be fair. Only by 2 seconds, 3 seconds, no worries. Cheers, guys. Yeah, even if it is delayed, guys, I don't think it's really that much of an issue anyway, because it gets watched back by people, doesn't it? So we should be good. But going into the second session, then, ladies and gents, qualifying 2. I mentioned earlier on, the first time I've done a full qualifying on this game, and in a long time, in a very long time. Now we have another 15-minute session, another 15 minutes to go of qualifying. And this is session 2, where we are going to lose another 2 oh my god, I can't even speak. Another 5 drivers, not 2. Another 5 drivers. It'll be Devil's Cupid, Inhumane Dan, Lord McJigglebun, Execution's Aim, and Mr. Liam. Them positions where they are right now. So P11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. They are, at risk of being eliminated. We have 15 minutes then, ladies and gents. And the drivers now exiting the pit lane with, of course, less time than they had before. It was 18 minutes for the first session, now 15. But who is going to be the quickest driver in this? Who is going to be eliminated? And who goes through to the final session of qualifying, where that really decides, where the top drivers start. And that is what you want to see, of course, from the race start. The battle's up at the front. That is what is, this is what is going to determine that. As everybody exits in the pit lane now. I must say, though, I do like full qualifying. This is quite fun. It's very chilled out, because going into the main races, when you have the 50% races, of course, it's a lot more fast-paced. And at the race start, there's a lot more effort that goes into it, but commentating a qualifying session is very nice. Very, very nice. Just to nicely talk about the drivers, and not too much effort on the voice, but as soon as you go into the main race, then it all changes, flips the script. But it is fun, and hopefully you guys enjoy the commentary from me tonight. Only just getting into it. We are 25 minutes into the stream. And we are waiting for the first times of the day. Shink's on YouTube then. He's going to be starting his lap. But let's go to Lord McJigglebun. He's the man in front. He will be the first driver to cross the line with a time today. He was quite quick in the first session. Can he replicate that today, or in this second session here at the Circuit of the Americas? I'd love to see him improve. I'd love to see him go a bit quicker than his last lap around. And of course, he's purple sector 1 because of being the first driver to do it. It's looking like a quite nice and neat lap in the first sector so far. Still got the last 2 to come, as somebody's heading a bit slowly through the first sector. I think it might be a Red Bull waiting to let some drivers through. There's yellow flags, and the 2 Red Bulls going slowly, one of them actually being spun around there. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but I do like the colour coordination between these 2 drivers. And Roximity and Snap, both of them using the special Red Bull livery, which is what we like to see. Let's go back to Lord McJigglebun then, round the final corner. He will be setting the first time of this session. Over the line, everybody, and it will be a 1:33.2, which compares quite nicely to the last laps around in the first session of qualifying. Executioner's Aim then, second place. Shinks on YouTube in 1:34.4. There's a McLaren over the line now of James, who sets a P3 time, and the big bulk of the times are going to be coming in very, very soon, as there's a Red Bull coming round now of Snap as he makes his way round and into the pit lane after I think it might have been him that spun around, actually, as there's an Aston Martin of Mr. Liam. He's going to cross the line now to set a time, and he goes into P4. McLaren over the line of Sweet Power into P3, and a Red Bull who is starting a flying lap now of Anroximity. Tesco Trolley, 1:33 flat. He now sets the fastest time in qualifying, everybody. That is the time to beat. Nearly 1:32s now that we're getting into. And an extremely strong time as a Ferrari moving out of the way there of Devil's Cupid. With, of course, like I mentioned, another 5 drivers being eliminated from this session today. And that is the minute is going to be Ben, Snap, Dr. Quell, and Inhumane Dan, and Devil's Cupid. But, of course, they haven't set times yet. So, when everybody's set a time, that's when we're really going to know where people are and how at risk they are going to be. As yellow flags then on the lap, and it is Sweet Power heading slowly, waiting for that Aston Martin to come through, who is potentially starting a lap. Mr. Liam, it's not him, it's his teammate who is on an out lap, so none of them on the lap at the moment, but there is drivers making their way around. Tesco Trolley's just done one. See if we can catch anybody else, shall we? Anroximity, he is on the lap and making their way round and in towards the final corner. Over the line then for them. And it's P6 with the 1:33.993, just about into the 1:33s as he sets a fairly decent time in the second session. 8 minutes of this session remaining then. Like I mentioned, 8 minutes. Dr. Quell then goes to P5, and Ben is out there in P12. He's going to be coming round over the first sector. Sets fastest sector 1. Still 2 more to come, but that is looking strong for him in the early stages. Now the DRS detection zone is coming up, but of course he will be getting it once he heads round this left-hand side and onto the back straight then. Here in Kota, the Aston Martin will go foot flat to the floor down here, using all the battery he has. 60% left, and the DRS now to assist him as well and give him that extra straight line speed, which helps him get over that 200-mile-an-hour mark. And Ben now heads into the left-hand side, into the final few corners pretty much of this lap now. The final sector that it is, and he's gone purple in sector 2 as well. Ben is currently on for pole at the moment. This is a really strong lap, and of course this is only the second session, so we can't take pole yet, but he can still be the quickest driver, and Ben could do that. He was quickest in the last session. He's going to head round now and towards the line for the DRS detection zone again, which he will get up towards the line today. Ben in the Aston Martin is looking insanely fast then as he goes over the line from P12 to P6, 1:33.8. He was looking very fast. He was looking very fast indeed. But P6 then is best for him. It's Devil's Cupid, 1:32.8. Not bad at all for him into the 1:32s, and the first driver to do so. It's Ben in the chat. Old tyres, all fair play. Yeah, Pebble Sector 1 and 2 on old tyres is still good. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I agree. Good laps then for him. McJigglebuns lap is on old tyres as well, and he sets a P3. Fair play to that man then, who's setting a very strong time. Let's look for someone that's on the lap then, shall we? Dr. Quell looks like he's improving here. Is he on the lap? He's going to go around the final corner with a beautiful delivery on that kick Sauber. Over the line for Dr. Quell. 5 P5, he goes with 133.4, which is lovely stuff for him. There's a Alpine around that final corner, and he's going to start a lap now of HB. But Devil's Cupid is the quickest driver, and we have 5.5 minutes of this session remaining as the clock is ticking down slowly but surely, and eventually we will reach that final session, which I believe is around 12 minutes for the final session, I think. Anyway, which that 12 minutes absolutely flies by. Let me tell you that, it really does. And I'm looking forward to getting into that for the final session. Then we have a 45-minute race coming up after that. So it's a long night tonight, but with a full grid, you know, full qualifying can be quite exciting to get into. And I don't get to do it often, so tonight is good to be here and doing it. Leclerc in the chat, I'm going to be out 33.9. Oh yeah, in the Red Bull P9 then for him. But hopefully you're enjoying so far then, everybody. The commentary will ramp up in the final few minutes of the final session, and of course the race, I'm sure of it. But these moments right now aren't as important, of course, as the next session. I mean, for people down at the back, this is quite important for them, given that if they don't get out of that bottom 5, they will be eliminated and they will be out, starting in these places stated. So only the drivers that are in the top 10 that will get through to the next session and get a chance of fighting for pole. They are the only drivers that can do so, as this Alpine runs it a bit wide there. The Mercedes forces its way past. Must be in a bit of a rush then to get a lap around, as that was Tesco Trolley who goes through, and he is on a lap at the moment, improving in the first sector. Now he flies down the back straight. And he's looking strong at the minute in the Mercedes. He really is. He, at the minute, isn't too far off that provisional pole P1 and being the quickest driver here. But what's it going to turn out like then for Tesco Trolley, who heads round the final corner and will cross the line here in Apex Racing League? Tesco Trolley is not the quickest driver. He didn't improve. Second place he has to hold. Inhuman Dan then, P5. Sweet Power is in 8. We've got HB in 11 into the first corner with a fuel light on. Possibly trying another lap here, but not a lot of fuel to do it. As Rixu then over the line. P10 for him. Tesco Trolley retires from the session and will be out for the rest of it, so defenceless on his position tonight. We've got HB then. He's on the lap at the moment and making his way down the back straight. As well as that, there is drivers making their way towards the line. Sweet Power being one of them, who is on a lap and improving by 0.4 of a second in the middle sector. Sweet Power around the final corner and looking to improve here today. It is the fastest time of the day. 0.8 improvement. It's a 1:32.719. And the McLaren finds the fastest time of the day. Dr. Quell retires. As here's HB then with a 0.5 improvement. He's made his way down that back straight into the final few corners. And looking fast at the minute in this second to last session of qualifying. HB is making his way up towards the line. Now then, And he's wanting a quicker time. It is P7. That was what he needed to get out of that bottom 5. Ariksu drops down to P12 now then as an improvement from Mr. Liam. Still keeps him inside that bottom 5. And he isn't going to improve. Snap now into the bottom 5 as Ben goes to the quickest time, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Liam retires. It is Anroximity who will not be improving from there. James is the only hope then in the bottom 5 drivers to improve with 20% battery. Now 14 into the final few corners. Has the McLaren got it in him now? Has he made enough time up to improve and get out of the bottom 5 to get into the final fight for pole? James is into P4 and now is going to get himself out of there and I think knock another driver into the elimination zone. He does. He knocks Dr. Quell into the elimination zone as Snap goes around. But that is it for your second session. And now we go into the final third of them with Ben Clips topping the timing boards 2 sessions in a row. What a good qualifying session we've seen so far. Only the final third to come. And I very much hope you're enjoying tonight just as much as I am because it has been quite exciting and fun to watch. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, we go into the next session in a moment, just waiting for some drivers to conclude their laps. Here we go then, everybody. That is it for this session. It is Ben, the quickest driver again, from Sweet Power 2, Devil's Cupid 3, James in 4. The eliminated drivers tonight then in this session: Quell, Snap, Mr. Liam, Ariksu and Proximity out of this session now into the final third of qualifying. And get yourselves ready for it because it is going to be an absolutely brilliant, brilliant session. Right then, let's be getting into this one, shall we? 11.5 minutes of your final session. This is the one that counts. This is the session that decides pole position. And we have 11 minutes of qualifying to get into the thick of it now. James, do your streams save on Twitch? Yeah, James, the streams will save on Twitch for 7 days. They also get uploaded to my YouTube, so they'll be there forever. So if you just search Jack Crossley on YouTube after the stream, about an hour and a half after the stream, it will be on YouTube for you to watch. So it will always be there, so do not worry about it being lost. But drivers making their way out of the pit lane, ladies and gentlemen. And this is it now. This really, really matters. No messing about anymore. We have seen we've seen drivers, you know, show some really good signs of pace today, and that is why I think this is going to be hard for them to really get stuck into it, because there's a lot of competition here tonight, a lot of fast drivers, and Ben Kliptu in P5 has been the driver being on the quickest spot 2 times in a row. Thanks, because I probably need it for the results. No worries, mate. It'll always be there. Charlie joins us again. Bonjour. Hello. Good to see you back in. We're very nearly at 800 followers now. And to the people here as well, if you've got an Amazon Prime subscription, you do get a free sub to give to a Twitch streamer of your choice. Helps us out a hell of a lot for what we do. So if you've got Amazon Prime, that is always there to give away for free, of course, with no extra cost. But 9 minutes left. Let's go Charlie on a lap now. I fumbled, but I forgot to go on new tyres. If I did, I'd be in Q3 easily. Oh, man. Well, here's your top 10. Here's your final 10 in this final session of qualifying. Each in the pit lane. James starting his lap around in a moment. Tesco Trolley is already out there and through the first sector. Not looking too bad at the moment. As all of the laps now starting. And like I mentioned, this session does fly by. We are already 8 minutes before the end, and it just absolutely flies through. McJigglebun then in the Williams. He's fastest in the first sector. We saw Tesco Trolley on the lap around at the moment, and he is currently just behind his teammate of Executioner's Aim, who is in front of him as well, and on a flying lap. There is an Alpine of Inhumane Dan over the line for a 1:32.6. That is very fast. That is very fast indeed. Here's Executioner's Aims. The first time we see is into the 1:32s. These are getting quicker as the day goes on. Executioner's Aim then. He's going to set a 1:33.2. Round the final corner for Tesco Trolley. He's a quick driver. He sets a 1:34.2. 1 second behind Sweet Power, 1:33.1. That is a brilliant time from Inhumane Dan. Absolutely brilliant. As he is the quickest driver so far. Lord McJigglebun round the final corner then, and towards the line, who did show signs of fastest first sector. I'm not entirely sure about the next two, but here he goes on to the front row of the grid provisionally here in the Apex Racing League. That is brilliant, brilliant stuff from Lord McJigglebun, who sets a very nice second place. But will he get beaten? We'll find out. Inhumane Dan, the quickest driver, of course. No drivers get eliminated now. This is the final session. This is the session where you fight for a high place and fight for pole if you are able to. Inhumane Dan is currently on that provisional pole place. Devil's Cupid heads round the final corner and over the line. This is fast over the line then. It's P3, 1:32.774. And just behind Lord McJigglebun here. But that is all your main times completed. We've still got 6 minutes to go, and everybody's going to give it one more time around. Sweet Power waiting at the side of the track here, as Ben's Kliptu will come through and make a pass on him into P4. He is right now in time, and he's gonna want to improve from there. Of course, he was the fastest driver, 2 seconds on the trot. And these might have been old tyres that he's done this lap on. I'm not entirely sure, but he goes into the pit lane now. Ben says poor lap, as he has set a P4 in the pit lane now and preparing for his final shot at pole position. Executioner's Aim in P6 is going to be on the he's going to be on a flying lap on the next lap around. Never mind, he's running the pit lane. He will be, because he's got no fuel, as he's set a 1:33.2. Eid then is currently P9 without a time on that board, but this is his flying lap and in towards the first sector. What has this first sector been then for the Alpine? 25.257. And into the second sector now, where he'll pick up the DRS on the back straight, which is coming up in a moment's time. Long way down into the left-hand side here as he'll brake, and the track opens up massively on the left-hand side as he then turns the car in, behaves brilliantly. That's just about right on the exit there, and he exits up towards the next left-hand turn with DRS now activated here at the Circuit of the Americas on his most likely second-to-last lap here in qualifying before the main Grand Prix coming up just after this. And here's HB then, making his way round the final few corners. This is where it really matters. Only 4 minutes remaining, and this is the lap that he needs to get right. P9 at the moment. He heads round the final corner. It's looking decently quick at the minute. He'd be over the line. 1 minute 33 is probably. It's a 1:33.673. And the Alpine sets the 7th quickest time today. Tesco Trolley sat in 8th position then. He's on an outlap at the moment. James in 9 in the pit lane. Shinks on YT has made it through to this session on an outlap too, and he'll be starting most likely now his final lap of the day. Surely there's not a lot of time to get back in the pit lane and come back out, is there, with a 1 minute 30 lap time at quick pace. It's not looking likely that Shinks will get another go at it. This could be his final time. A lot of drivers waiting for the right opportunity. Here's Shinks out there already with an Aston Martin in front of him moving out of the way. He's already through the first sector pretty much now. He has to get this bit right, and he's made it quite good through there, to be fair, into the first sector at 25 flat. As the Kick Sauber possibly finding time, but he's got not a lot of battery left anymore. He will lose that extra 20% engine power, and unfortunately that really does drastically affect the performance, especially in the qualifying session. Shinks on YT, 1 minute 2.3. Not a lot of battery left in his car then to make it towards the line and get a good time on the board. 2.5 minutes remaining. As the back end swings out, a lot of drivers on their outlaps now. James, Devil's Cupid and Lord McJiggerburn are the only drivers still in the pit lane and leaving this incredibly late now, timing it well, as here comes Shinks then up towards the line for his final time of the day. Shinks over the line. It's P5 or below them where he will be starting in qualifying. HB starting a lap around. Tesco Trolley around the final corner. This will be his last lap of the day. Tesco in P9. He improves to the second row of the grid in the Mercedes. That is strong going for Tesco Trolley then. As an Aston Martin of Ben's clipped you, making his way round the final corner, and he will cross the line. Currently P5 at the minute and looking to improve from here on, I assume. Brand new soft compound tyres. Tesco Trolley retires from the session then in P3. He will not be improving from there. That is his place now, dead set. And he could be beaten, as Shinks, of course, we've just seen. He set a P6. Ben's clipped you on the lap around. Let's go to HB, who's a bit more further in front and towards the end of Sector 2 now then. It's looked fairly strong in the first sector for the Alpine, but the second sector's coming then, and it's going to be a 2/10 improvement, which would not get him any places at the minute. He still needs time to find if he wants to be on those higher places. Still, he will be in the top 10. But he's going to want to be higher than that as he makes his way round the final few corners, and the fuel light is on. This man is running as light as a feather in this car. Round the final corners then, here at the Circuit of the Americas. Has the Alpine found enough time for a better time today? He crosses that line in P9. Only a 10th improvement, not enough there for any major improvement. It is Shinx then who comes into the pit lane. After coming round now, we have Inhumane Dan is making his way round. Lord McJigglebun's just about to start his final lap. Here's Inhumane Dan, currently on pole position. This is very fast. This is very, very fast. Inhumane Dan might even be in 1:32's low. It is. A 10.5 improvement, and he is in the 1:32s now, like the lower end of it anyway, 1:32.469. Absolutely rapid for the Alpine. Lord McJigglebun starts his final lap. Ben's Clipchew crosses the line. It's P5 at best for him, unfortunately. Sweet Power around the final corner. Will Sweet Power make an improvement here? He crosses the line. It is front row of the grid for Sweet Power here in qualifying. Lord McJigglebun then, everybody, makes his way down. He's fastest in the first sector, and this could be pole at the moment. Executioner's aim round the final corner. Is this a lap then for the Mercedes? Over the line. It's P3 now. Lord McJigglebun down to P4. Everybody making improvements at the end. Ben's Clipchew. He's on the lap then. Of course, the first... he's not on the lap. Sorry, he already set one. My bad. James is up by 0.4 of a second, though. We're going to go back to sorry, my bad. Lord McJigglebun, though, as he is nearly at the line. A 10.5 improvement on this lap around in that middle sector. Not entirely sure what the first sector was. I think it was fastest then for McJigglebun. But he wants to try and improve now in the final third. And it's looking strong for him. It is looking very strong for him at the moment, but, you know, has he found enough time to be on that pole position today from P4, running it wide there, nearly in validation. This is quite quick, but I still don't think it's pole position times. Lord over the line. It is pole position times for the Williams. A 1:32.3, and we have pole for Lord McJigglebun then this evening. Will he be beaten? Inhumane Dan over the line, finishes qualifying P2. Ben's Clipchew will not improve, and it is Lord McJigglebun then on pole position here in Austin, Texas for Apex Racing League. Here we are then, ladies and gentlemen, here in Texas for your qualifying 3 session. It is Lord McJigglebun on pole position from Inhumane Dan on the front row of the grid with him in P2. Sweet Power P3, Executioner's Aim 4, Tesco Trolley 5, Devil's Cupid 6, James 7, Ben's Clipchew 8, Shinx 9, and EB in 10. That is it for qualifying. Next up is the Grand Prix. Be back very, very shortly for that. Never mind, the graphic for the Grand Prix starting soon screen has disappeared, so we're going to stay on the main screen for now. As the time has just hit 8 PM now, and just as we thought, qualifying has taken around an hour, which it does make me laugh. Qualifying takes longer than the main race, but you know, it is what it is. Full qualifying does take a long time. As we are an hour into the stream now, and we are just about to start the main Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. What's the what is it with you guys? How do you do it with going into the race? Do you guys have a bit of a break, or do you just go straight into it now? I think we're getting straight into it. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. Back on the grid, ahead of the drivers. It is lights out and away we go here in Apex Racing League. An Executioner's Aim already up into P1 then, with 28 laps ahead of us, and the Mercedes takes the lead. It is McJigglebun second place now. Inhumane Dan 3, Sweet Power currently running in 4. Aziz B up to P5, making his way through the pack at the minute. Now down to P6 as the McLaren gets through. James up into P5. A great start from him then. Up 2 places right now. HB is up 4, and Proximity up 9 now into P6. HB drops down to 7. P7. The battling at the back is brilliant as Tomo and Jay Riley at the back of the grid are both off into the barriers, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of action on the first lap of this Grand Prix then as Shinx in P8, EB in P9. Devil's Cupid makes a move up the inside line to try and take that position away. He gets into P9 quite nicely. A great start today as your strategies on your screen. The one-stop or the two-stop, medium hard or the soft medium hard. We have Devil's Cupid battling with HB up in front of that as well. It is Mr. Liam who's just about in front. Behind that is Anne Proximity in P7. Shinx trying to get through as well in the Kick Sauber in P8. I'm sure he's going to do it right now. He's looking for the inside line, trying to get ahead here. As thank you very much for the follow, ZM. I appreciate that. Looking for a move. Goes Shinx. The Red Bull goes wide. Here comes the Kick Sauber trying to fight back here. And he has fought back. He gets 8th position. Ben clipped. He's not able to get through, but he is going to try and fight back up the inside line here into the final corner. This Aston Martin is wanting this place, and he's forced to kick Sauber a bit wide here. Up towards the line now then, ladies and gentlemen, for Ben's clipped you, and he goes into P7 for a moment, but will it be enough? Shinx is fighting this one back. Ben has done it. P7. 3 abreast in towards the first corner then. James into P3. Lord McJigglebon now the leader. It is Inhumane Dan fighting with him up at the front. And the racing action from the drivers at the minute has been very nice indeed. As we are on the second lap of 28 and Lord McJigglebon driving brilliantly. Managing to get himself back on that P1 place where he started this session today. Oh, up the inside line, Shinx goes. Was that Shinx? Was it? It looks like it was. Mr. Liam then tried up the inside line there as well. Is now level pegging with the McLaren up towards the left-hand side. Sweet Power is in front. He's managed to get ahead of the Aston Martin and clear him for now. Up towards the front of that, then it is Lord McJigglebon getting overtaken by the Alpine of Inhumane Dan. Both of them fighting brilliantly. Up at the front is this Alpine driver going to be able to be the race leader on the second lap, or will Lord take it away from him? He switches back underneath at the front of this Grand Prix tonight. It is Lord back at the front for a moment. Inhumane Dan now is back through into one. James is now on the scene in P3. The McLaren as well of Sweet Power is right behind that, and they're all in the mix. As Lord getting ever closer to Inhumane Dan here on the second lap of 28 now. The third lap begins out of 28. And we make our way up towards the first corner with the drivers at the Circuit of the Americas. It has been a very nice race so far with all of the drivers. It's up the inside line. Shinx tries it on the Red Bull. Can he get ahead here? It's looking like he can, as he's giving it absolutely everything, ladies and gentlemen. But Shinx is the driver in front in 7. Up the inside then is trying it, the Aston Martin, as he tries to get through past his teammate. There's also McLaren there on the scene, as it is James holding on to P4 at the minute. He's just about in front. Ben Cliptue is now trying to get back up the inside line, not wanting to take any breaks here. P4 for him if he can make it stick, but the McLaren breaks way later. He will have the inside line going into the right-hand side. Ben is now on the outside, but he will be able to take the inside. He switches back underneath, now trying to get back through, playing all the games on this McLaren as Jay Riley retires from the session then. The first retiree of the day. Shinx, oh, the inside line there was the McLaren, the Aston Martin, trying to get through past his teammate. I think Mr. Liam there was trying to give it a good go. But he's not been able to do that, unfortunately, today, ladies and gentlemen. As the Aston Martin has to wait his turn. But I have to admit, the racing action so far has been great, and it is not over yet. It's up the inside there. Ben's clipped you, trying to get through once more. These guys are not taking any breaks, are they? And Roximity in 8. Devil's Cupid now behind in P9 on lap 4 of 28. 24 laps remaining in Sweet Power with a time penalty. The first penalty of the day. Collie is in the pit lane then, not spoke about them very much at all because, of course, they retired from the session in the first qualifying. Here comes Anroximity then. What am I missing out on here? Snap, there we go, there he is. Snap in P10, trying to make a move up the inside line. The Red Bull giving it a good go here on the Ferrari, who goes deep, and the Red Bull is going to get through to P9. Devil's Cupid loses out of place, down to P10 now then. It is Arixu in 11. Up in front of that then, Lord gets back through to the race lead. Inhumane Dan is fighting him back. The Alpine up the inside line once more. Now into the lead briefly, but Lord is holding it on in the Williams. Just about now up the inside line, which will give him the advantage going on to the next lap around and this corner. But Dan now tries to switch back round the outside line. Lord is not having any of it. He's going to hold his place for now, and the Alpine is still fighting him massively. The racing action has been brilliant on this race start, and I'm glad it's not been boring. I really am. This has just been brilliant. It really has. The action has been never ending. We're only 5 laps in. Battling here into turn 1. Mr. Liam up the inside line. The McLaren. Will Mr. Liam get ahead? He will. Here comes the kick sauber of Shinks as well, trying to make a move on the McLaren. Shinks gets into P6. James now drops down to 7th place. As Mr., the man holding this battle up at the front, each in with a 3-second time penalty, now down in P16. As James gets ahead into P6. Shinks drops down to 7 now. Lord McJigglebun then in P1, still leading, but Inhumane Dan's giving it another go round the outside line, and it is deja vu for the drivers. We've had this many laps around on repeat, as Inhumane Dan now finally has found his way through. Will the Williams find a gap through here to try and get back around? I don't think he will. Inhumane Dan has managed to hold that P1. Now this is his time to play with that lead. He's going to try and hold it as long as possible, but will Lord McJigglebun be able to take it away from him as we head into the lap 6 of the Grand Prix? Inhumane Dan round the final corner. Here comes Lord McJiggle then up towards the line, round the outside line of the Alpine, and the Williams has managed to get in front into the lead. The Alpine now drops down to P2. It is P3. Ben's clipped you into 3rd position. Sweet Power being deposited down into P4 now. Mr. Liam 5, Shinks 6, James 7, 8 is Roximity. All round goes Snap in the Red Bull as he spins the car around into the wall there, looking to not bring a safety car out, and we carry on. So no safety car deployed because of that. But if you're still in the chat, everybody, if you're still in the chat, hope you're having a nice time. Hopefully you're enjoying the watch tonight on your Friday evening on lap 6 of 28, where we're here for the Apex Racing League. And we have some great battles just like this one. And Inhumane Dan again is fighting for this position. He wants that lead, but Lord McJigglebun has managed to hold it now. Contact on the backside of the Williams as a safety car comes out. Jay Riley and Tesco Trolley both out of the session. I don't know where the safety cars come from, but we do have a safety car, and Inhumane Dan, after the safety car, is your race leader. Will we get any early pit stops then? 6 laps in, I think we are going to get some pit stops. I really do. Devil's Cupid with the drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Into the pit lane then for a lot of drivers as Anroximity with a penalty, ladies and gents. Lots of drivers in the pit lane now, all decided to do the same thing. And it's Sweet Power staying out then. He will gain track position in that McLaren and be your race leader on the 7th lap of the Grand Prix. If Sweet Power stayed out, he has gained track position. Everybody else behind him is on brand new tyres now, so he might struggle a little bit. But we'll find out if he's able to hold that place or not. We are 1/4 of the way into this session. Jay Riley and Tesco Trolley both out of the session tonight, with 18 people remaining. It is very weird commentating another league. It really, really is. Getting used to all the new names. Long time since I've done it, but we're doing it again, and I'm very glad to be doing it. We cross the line again, under the safety car, still waiting for it to go in, but it should be the next lap around. So I'm assuming lap 9 we're going to go racing again, and then we'll be very nearly into the double digits of laps. .20 laps remaining then. This should be the lap around. We go racing once more. Hopefully you're enjoying tonight then, everybody. And thank you very much to everyone that sent follows as well, because helps us out a hell of a lot. But we are an hour and 10 minutes into the stream, and we probably have another 30 minutes of racing before we are done with this. And the safety car is slowing us down just a little bit, but it is going away now. And Sweet Power in the McLaren is ahead. Like I mentioned, hasn't made a pit stop. The only driver pretty much out of everybody that didn't make a pit stop. He might be worried here. He's on the older tyres compared to everybody else, and he's going to want to get this right. He is going to want to get this right then, everybody. Here we go. The McLaren ahead. His teammate of James down in 9. Not really in sight to help him out here. As we're about to get racing again then, we make our way around the final few corners then with the drivers. Here comes Sweet Power. He will put his foot down in a moment, to catch all the drivers out, and he goes into the pit lane now. Never mind, Sweet Power will go into the pit lane. He realises he shouldn't have done it, possibly. Inhumane Dan then will inherit the lead. Lord McJigglebone into 2, and we are in the same place as where we started. Lord into P1. Ben's clipped you now through both of them, threading the needle as the Aston Martin goes into the lead of this USA Grand Prix. What a brilliant move there from Ben's clipped you. He gets into P1. Lord McJigglebone down to 2. Inhumane Dan now 3 as Meets to Liam is getting through to P3. What a great move we're seeing here then. Of course, Meets to Liam is on the the brand new medium compound, which are going to be a bit better than these hards, and he will be able to get through past Lord McJigglebun here as well, most likely up the inside line here, trying his absolute best to do so. Will he make a dive up the inside here of the Williams, cutting the corner a bit there to do so? Nearly an Aston Martin 1-2 here, as Lord is trying to hold this place as much as possible on the slower tyres. Let's be honest, Lord in front still in second place. Mr. Liam doing everything he can to hold it, and he dives deep up the inside line into P2. Oh, off the side of the track there goes Inhumane Dan. I've just realised who it was. Inhumane Dan is off. And we are going to lose out on the battles with the drivers up at the front with him then. That's such a shame. S150 goes round the outside. And Inhumane Dan now loses yet again another position there. He was all the way up in second place first at some points as well. He goes into the pit lane now, and he must be having some sort of wing damage or something then. The Alpine must. Never mind, he retires on the session. Well, Ben's clip shoot is the Aston Martin up at the front. It is an Aston Martin 1-2 tonight. With Stray Dog Racing running up in 9, that is very nice for him. Don't get to see Stray Dog running quite high all the time, but in the top 10 tonight, and he is showing some promising pace at the minute. He's still quite close behind the drivers in front, and we have 18 laps remaining. Dr. Quo goes into P5, then in front of that, McJigglebun having to move out of the way of Shinks, as Shinks, of course, is in third place right now. Might be overtaken, though, by Lord if he can get enough pace behind him to get ahead. Shinks trying to go around the outside now then of this Williams driver. Here's giving it his absolute everything round the outside line. Will it be a pass then? The Williams just behind as well. And Roximity is in P6. All within a few tenths of each other here for some overtaking. The McLaren of James is right on the backside as well. And Executioners, Aim and Stray Dog all within a few tenths of each other. And then towards the first corner, 3 abreast here. Then it's Lord McJigglebun up the inside line. Dr. Quell in P3 at the moment. Then it's Shinks now into 4 as he gets ahead of Lord. Lord loses a place. James behind that with Anne Roximity pushing on the backside of him. I have to say, surely these guys have standard. Voice crack. Surely these guys have standard corner cutting on, because these guys are proper taking advantage of these corners. Banan Roximity in P7 then makes a move up the inside line, possibly here on James, doing what he can to get in front. But James with the speed here, using all the battery he has, both of them on equal level battery here, really. Up the inside line goes Roximity, makes a dive, and he makes it work. In front of that as well, McJigglebun in P5, James behind that in 6. These guys are giving it an absolutely brilliant battle. Sorry, Shinks in P4 is giving it a good battle here with Lord. Up the inside for the Kick Sauber, and he has made that work at the moment. He's in P4 and will be holding that for a moment. Collie and Tomo at the back in P14 and P15 swapping positions. Then Collie gets into P14. It's Collie and Tomo, both with time penalties at the same time. Inhumane Dan, hello mate, welcome in. Good to see you and to chat tonight. Such a shame about where you, of course, ended up tonight, mate, but good race when you were here. Executioner's Aim off the side of the track. Here is Amroximity in P7 now, making a move up. James in P6 then, is Lord in front of him. Then it's Shinks, then it's Quell. Thank you very much for the follow as well, Inhumane Dan, I appreciate it. As James with a 3-second time penalty, and Ben's clipped you, is your race leader on lap 12 of 28. Still fairly early stages. But it has been a great race so far, and look how close the drivers are, running so far. This is tier 2, by the way, up the inside line for Devils as he makes his way into P12. In front of that, Execution is aim and Stray Dog contact here with Stray Dog hitting the side of the Mercedes. Wow, that could have been a lot worse than it was. Stray Dog might have some wing damage here then as he made contact there. The wing looks okay, but there might be some underlying damage that you can't see visually. As Collie retires from the session in the pit lane, so no safety car will come out from that. But is another driver retiring. It's Collie, Inhumane Dan, Jay Riley, and Tesco Trolley, all retiring from the session. I think Tesco Trolley had some potential today. It's quite a shame to retire. Same with Inhumane Dan. I think even if he didn't retire, he probably would have made some more places up. As Lord gets into P4, as Shinks behind that in 5 is holding off at the minute, but the Williams makes a big mistake there, and through goes the Kick Sauber into P4. The lineup at the minute is the 2 Aston Martins and the 2 Kick Saubers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Loads of action going on here with the drivers then. Is Amroximity in 8. Ahead of that is Executioner's Aim in P7, trying to get ahead. It's Stray Dog as well. He's got front row seats to this action. As up the inside goes the Red Bull here on the Mercedes, sorry. And Stray Dog watching this one unfold in front of him. Some great action we're seeing at the minute from the drivers as the Red Bull doing everything he can to get in front. Behind is Sweet Power, possibly making a bit of a mistake there, bringing out the yellow flags in that sector. Tomo gets overtaken by Snap, unfortunately for him. We are halfway through, everybody. The Grand Prix tonight in the back end, sliding out for Tomo. Loads of action going on in the middle pack here then. In towards turn 1, and is Arixu, in P10. It is Ige B, drops down to 11. The Ferrari of Devil's Cupid isn't far off this action as well. As here comes Stray Dog 3 Racing for a move on Amroximity. Here he goes then up the inside line, doing everything he can to get in front, braking at a good time. Into the left-hand side, trying to hold his position, defend from Amroximity, doing everything he can to get back through. He's looking for the inside line here to force the Ferrari off. But I think Stray Dog's got it covered, and I think Stray Dog might just be able to stay in front here. The Red Bull tries again. The wheels collide, and through goes Stray Dog to hold it into P9. A great move for the Ferrari. How long will he have it for? Stray Dog with a lot more battery over Amroximity here today. Here we are then, Amarok Simity fighting Stray Dog again and retiring in the pit lane is S150, unfortunately. It's another driver out, only 15 left now. Stray Dog still holding his place, is up the inside line, goes to Red Bull. I've got to say, these are some crazy track limits, you know. It was very, very up the inside, taking advantage of that corner. But these guys then, in P4, 5, 6 and 7. It is Shinx in P4 then at the minute, holding this place in the kicks out, but Lord Majigglebun in P5 then trying to get ahead. James is behind that now. Can he make the move at the inside line? The Mercedes makes a great dive there into P5 ahead of all of the drivers here. Shinx running away with it. Execution is aim, sorry, in 5. Mick Jigglebun then in 6. And James at the inside line now, forcing the Williams wide. Who's going to get ahead in this battle here? The Williams gets pushed off. Mick Jigglebun down to P7. What's going on with him? He was fighting great up at the front earlier on, losing all these places, and now struggling in this Grand Prix. Majigglebun then into P6 there. James drops down to P7. Stray Dog Racing in P8. Amarok Simity 9. Ariksu 10. Ishb 11. Devil's Cupid 12. Sweet Power 13. Tomo 14. Snap is gaining on him in P15. Oh, he goes very deep. Very deep indeed. Won't be gaining on him. Won't be gaining on him anymore. Into the wall, and that is going to be race ending for Snap into the barrier. Ariksu and Stray Dog now fighting again. Stray Dog up the inside line as Amarok Simity has made his way through. Here's Ariksu trying to get himself past Stray Dog here as well. Not able to do it right now. Stray Dog using a lot of battery that he's got left now to stay in front, using all that battery power. Lord Mick Jigglebun and Executioner's aim then. Absolutely fighting brilliantly up at the front. In the pit lane goes Ben's Cliptube, Dr. Quell and Mr. Liam. Will anybody else follow them in then? Nobody else goes in just yet. Everybody carrying on. These guys, of course, are on the hards. The medium drivers have gone into the pit lane for a two-stop strategy. The hards have gone on the one-stop, of course, and they are now the ones leading this race. Is the strategy going to work till the end, though? We'll find out if their tyres last or not. As Shinx on YT is your race leader, ladies and gentlemen. Shinx is the leader. Oh, Stray Dog Racing retires, hits the barrier hard, and we have another safety car, ladies and gentlemen. One more safety car here in Apex Racing League. That is a shame. That is such a shame. Safety car out again, and Stray Dog is out of this session. Only 14 people now left in this session. And the two drivers up at the front just made pit stops as well. So Stray Dog's out, the safety car's here, Shinx is leading, and are we going to get any more pit stops? The Williams goes in of Lord Mick Jigglebun then. Same with Executioner's aim, James as well. drivers lining up behind the safety car now. Then it'll be Shinks in front, Ben 2, Meester 3, Lord McJiggleman 4, Executioner's Aim 5, 6 is James, 7 is Amrock Simity, 8 Rixu, 9 Dr. Quell, 10 EGB. Ben, you're a good commentator. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. I appreciate that. Hopefully I'll be sticking around for a little bit, mate. I do plan to stick around for a few weeks. Ten laps remaining, everybody. 10 more before we conclude this lap, this race here in Apex Racing League. And how enjoyable has this been so far? It really, really has been. Hopefully you guys feel the same way. I've really enjoyed it. And a long qualifying session it has been, but more than worth it. The Shinks on YT is your leader. We are lap 19 now, so it'll be lap 20, your racing lap. And we'll have 8 more laps of racing to decide the winner of this Grand Prix. With a late safety car today. Man, I am very tired now. This has gone on for a while, but it's been good. Shinks in the chat. Good. Welcome in, mate. Welcome in, Shinks. Glad you're here tonight. Gone from Shinks on YouTube to Shinks on Twitch in the chat. How are we doing? Very good, mate. I'm very good indeed. How are you? Hopefully you're okay. It's been a really enjoyable race so far. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. And people that haven't been watching, if you're watching it back, hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. But safety car in this lap. And we have 8 laps remaining. 8 push laps now for the drivers to decide who is going to be the winner come the end of it. Shinks on YouTube, the man up at the front. Ben's clipped you, second place. Meester Liam, 3. We are about to get racing again, ladies and gentlemen. We go racing again. Lord McJiggleman tries on the outside line and Mr. Liam. We go racing once more. Shinks then already, of course, gaining half a second gap on Ben's Clipchew in towards the first corner. Mr. Liam's in 3 then. Lord McJiggleman 4. Executioner's Aim up the inside in 5. He tries to make a move into P4 then. A great move past this Williams, but can he make it stick? The Mercedes giving it absolutely everything then. Past this Williams driver today. I don't think he's done it. He has not done it. Can't get through past the Williams here. The Williams gets into P4. Executioner's Aim down to 5. And Roximity in 6. 7 is James then. At the moment in on the 2-lap hold. Hard Compound Tyres. 8 is Dr. Quell. 9 Arixu. 10 is Sweet Power. 11 Devil's Cupid. 12 Snap. 13 is Tomo. Off the side of the track here is EHB in P14. Meester Liam then in P2 now, making a move and now trying to get ahead of Shinks on YT, who is at big threat here of the Aston Martin making a pass on him. He's going to look for the outside line here to get ahead. Mr. Liam doing what he can to get into the lead. He's done it now. Shinks in second place is giving it his all as he sends it back up the inside line here, making contact. Shinks hits the Aston Martin then as they make their way through. Now all the drivers are in contention of this win. Meester now is your leader. Ben's Klipchu is second place, and we have an Aston Martin 1-2. It's Shinks in third now. Executioner's Aim in 4. Lord McJiggleman 5, and they're all coming through 2 by 2 as a scatter of drivers in towards the final few corners. And Roximity with a 3-second time penalty as on that 20th lap, it is Meester Liam as your leader. The drivers making their way off the side of the track here. Long lap around here it is in Kota as the drivers make their way up towards turn 1. Shinks is all the way down to P7. In P6 then is James. Lots going on. He's towards the first corner. What is going on here with the drivers? And Roximity gets into 4. Snap retires from the session in the pit lane, everybody. As Lord McJiggleman in 5, James in 6, Dr. Quell 7, Devil's Cupid in 8 then. Gets pushed off wide, back into the barrier goes Shinks. Oh man, this man was having such a good race. But 7 laps before the end, Shinks is gone. Snap's gone as well. Tomo with a 3-second time penalty now. As Ben's Klipchu is the race leader. 0.5 of a second ahead of his teammate, who is at risk now of overtaken by Executioner Aim. He's going to go up the inside line, and the Mercedes has made a pass here to split the 2 Aston Martins up. A great pass if he can make it stick, giving it absolutely everything. Goes the Mercedes on that Aston Martin. Can Executioner's Aim get ahead? He's giving it everything that he has here, but he just hasn't been able to make that pass. Now he has, though, into P2, splitting the 2 Aston Martins up then on lap 21 of 28. Executioner's Aim had Meester on the backside. Now he's got Ben Klipchu in front of him, and he's really going to want to make a move on him here when he can. So in the pit lane goes Shinks after ruining that wing. We have Snap, Stray Dog, S150, Collie, Inhumane, Dan, Jay Riley, and Tesco Trolley. All drivers that have retired from today's session. Only 13 remain out of 20. And this is your top few drivers on lap 22 of 28. Sweet Power and Devil's Cupid in P8 and 9. And the Ferrari is going to want to try and make a move here on the McLaren as he looks for the inside. Not enough gap for him there. We're going to look here then with Dr. Quell up the inside line here. Back up to the front as well. Lots of moves going on for the lead. Here comes Meester Liam up the inside of Lord on the Williams. He's passed into P3. Ben's in second place. And Executioner's Aim has been promoted to the lead of the Grand Prix here at the Circuit of the Americas, everybody. HB retires from the session. That could be a safety car unless he retired on the track, which I think he did. Lap 23 of 28, everybody. And Ben's Klipchu leading now. He gets through into P1. Executioner's Aim loses a place. Meester Liam now in third. He's got behind him Lord McJiggleman giving it everything he has. This man fell down the order earlier on, but he's made his way back up. And he's currently in fourth place, which he should be very happy about. He's done well there. Man, the corner cutting is crazy here. It really is. They must be on the standard corner cutting rules here in this league. But Ben Klipchu is the race leader still. Execution Azaim doing what he can to get ahead on lap 23 of 28. Shinx is very far behind at the back as here comes Execution Azaim in second place. Up the inside line, he goes for the lead again, and he's leading once more, everybody, in that Mercedes. Behind that, contact made, and Mr. Liam goes around in 5. Through goes the McLaren and Proximity in P4. The Red Bull and the McLaren fly through. Into the final corner where Ben goes very deep, and you cannot blame him. You know, this kind of consistency over the span of 28 laps must be pretty hard for the drivers, and they're keeping it quite nice and neat for the whole entire race so far. They should be pretty happy with how it is going right now. They really should be. But 4 laps remaining before the end, and Execution Azaim is still your leader by half a second to the Aston Martin. As here comes the Rixu then in P9 in the Racing Bull, giving it a good fight here on Dr. Quell. And Dr. Quell right to the backside of James as well after he got a great exit out of there, which is going to allow him to catch up as much as possible on James in front. Behind that as well, Devil's Cupid and Rixu. I think Devil's Cupid made a move there. As here comes Sweet Power up the inside line of the Aston Martin into P5 goes the McLaren. Great pass on him. Here comes the kick Sarah of Dr. Quell as well, pushing the backside of the McLaren. As here's the kick Sauber on the backside of James, pushing the car to the absolute limits then. Right on the backside of the McLaren into the final corner. Who will finish ahead in this race? Dr. Quell looking for a move, and every time he makes a move, there's just not enough gap for him to get in front. We make our way down in towards turn 1. Ahead of that, there is a move here with Proximity and Sweet Power. As Sweet Power trying his best to get ahead here of the Red Bull. It's not working out at the moment, but it's not over yet. James off the Dr. Quell off the track, everybody. Dr. Quell off the track in P10 in the kick Sauber. And he's all the way down the back now in 10th position. There's Rixu trying to get ahead of James as well here. We're on lap 25 of 28 in the race, soon to be concluded. Up the inside line, Mr. Liam giving it a good go here. The Aston Martin trying his best to get ahead. As they fight all the way down into the left-hand side, everybody overtaking everybody into this left-hand side corner here. It's a Rixu and Proximity ahead of that. Meets the Liam now in P6, sandwiched by the McLarens as in front James goes. It is Sweet Power in P6 now, getting ahead of Mr. Liam, losing another place once more. Devil's Cupid goes off the side of the track wide here. Rixu down at the back in 9 as well. But a great bunch of battles we're seeing collectively throughout this Grand Prix. As round the final corner go Ben and Execution Azaim and Lord McJigglebun, the top 3 which have run away with the race today. And this is your definite podium right now as lap 26 begins, only a few laps before the end. Well, up 26 of 28 in yellow flags, and we have Shinx on YT down at the back of the grid. I think he spun around again because yellow flags came out. Something must have gone wrong with him there then, down at the back in P12. Of course, we saw him go off earlier and hit the barrier, losing his wing. Went into the pit lane, and now he's at the very back of the grid. 24 seconds off the pace, unfortunately. In front of that, then Ariksu in P8. Devil's Cupid drops down behind him. In front of that, even further, even more overtakes are about to happen. Here comes James then on Ambroximity. Right on the outside line, he goes into P4. He's made the pass, and he's made it stick, but Ambroximity tries up the inside again to try and get back ahead. He wants P4 really badly here, as James doing what he can to hold on to it. Both of them giving it everything through lap 26 and to the end of it in a moment. Yellow flag come out in the middle sector as James makes contact with Ambroximity here. Still round the outside line he is. James giving it absolutely all he has for this place. Round the outside line, making even more contact. He just can't get through here. As we head into the final few corners then, up the inside line goes Sweet Power. Lap 27 of 28 begins, everybody. It is the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix tonight. As up the inside line goes Ambroximity once again. Sweet Power too. Sweet Power into P4 now. Ambroximity off the track wide onto the gravel. James is going to make a pass now into P5 behind his teammate Meester in P6 now, fighting the backside of the McLaren as he wants this very badly indeed. In contact made there very nearly, both of them off the track, and they both spin around, losing places. The kickstarter of Dr. Quell goes through. Mr. Liam and James lose out now as James gets spun around, and he will be absolutely livid about that in P10. As he gets back on, but really far down the grid now. Here's Dr. Quell then on Ambroximity. Round the outside line, trying to get through what he can. With Mr. Liam, of course, losing a lot of places because of the kerfuffle that happened earlier on the last lap around, lap 26. And Ambroximity now, he's up the inside trying again. Meester doing what he can to hold it, and right up the inside there. He's managed to hold P6 at the minute as we come around the final corner to start the final lap of the Grand Prix. And Lord Majigglebot into the barrier. The wing smashed up on both ends. And this is Sweet Power's time and Dr. Quell to try and catch up. He will be really mad about that. The final lap of the race. And it's all come crashing down, everybody, for the Williams, who unfortunately has now most likely lost this win, possibly. It's a possible chance, but he's struggling to turn these corners, and the McLaren behind, he's catching massively. Executioner's aim with a 3-second time penalty. Here comes Sweet Power. Sweet Power cutting the corner to get through past him, let's be honest. But he does get through into P3 there. There's Lord McJigglebun into P3 now, trying to fight again. The McLaren goes wide and loses that place. Dr. Quell now on the backside, and I think this Kicksauber might just be able to steal this third place and the final spot on the podium today here in Apex Racing League in the US of A then for the COTA Circuit of the Americas, of course. It is Ben Klipschu back up at the front. These guys up at the front are fighting like their life depends on it. This is the fight then for the race win. Executioner's aim as a penalty. It's looking more likely to the way of Ben today, where it's been an absolutely brilliant drive from him and everybody else this evening. But one man that has dominated more than most is Ben Klipschu in the Aston Martin here in Apex Racing League for the 8th round of the season. The Aston Martin, pure domination from him today. He wins the American Grand Prix here in the US of A COTA. It is Executioner's aim over the line then, who will take second place, and Quell takes second place on penalties. Executioner's aim third, and the final spot on the podium for him. Lord McJigglebon 4, Devil's Cupid 5, Meester in 6, Ariksu 7, 8 is Sweet Power, 9 is James, 10 Ambroximity, 11 Tomo, and 12 will be Shinks on YT. over the line then to conclude this session tonight. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, then on to your finishing results. From the full qualifying to the 50% race, we are complete. And your results should be on your screen now when they come up. There it is. Race winner, Ben Klipchu. Fastest lap goes to Ben Klipchu as well as him being the cleanest driver. Driver of the day goes to Dr. Quell. Most overtakes is Devil's Cupid. Thank you very much for joining me tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for my first ever time here in Apex Racing League. If you enjoyed the action, please drop a follow. It's been a very nice evening. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Great race from you all. We should be very happy with that. And I'll see you all next week. Have a good evening. Have a good Friday night. And good night.